Are you and your dog struggling with reactivity? You're not alone. The good news is that we've created a completely new approach to managing your dog's reactivity, and it's available for you and your dog right now. Go to positively.com, click Take a Course, and choose Help Stop Reactivity to enroll in this game-changing online course for you and your dog today. That's positively.com. And now, on to the podcast. One of my favorite cities in the UK is Bath. And everybody that really visits the UK from abroad, especially Americans from here, they all go to Bath or whatever they call it, and they absolutely love it. And this is where my next guest is situated. I think it's probably one of the most beautiful areas of the UK. And so I'm really jealous. But he's been there for a long time, and he has an incredible business called Avon Dog Services. You might have also seen him, if you're very lucky and you get to see the Dog Academy, you'd have seen him on the series 1 of the Dog Academy. And then because of all the work stuff that he had, you also see him on series 2, but in a different capacity. His name is Adam Daines. He is VSPDT. He's also VSA faculty and a faculty advisor. And so it is high time that he's on here. We're going to dish the dirt on the Dog Academy. We're also going to talk about a really interesting vacation idea he has. And this is why I wanted him on the podcast. So welcome, Adam.
Thank you very much for having us. It's an absolute pleasure to be here.
The famous Adam Daines, finally. I know. Have you done the podcast before? I think
No,
way
never.
back. Never?
Don't think I've ever done one.
Okay,
No.
that's insane. That's crazy.
The first
all right.
one.
I don't understand why it's taken so long. But
I'm shy. I'm so shy and retiring. I just don't want to do stuff.
do you know what? When obviously you were cast in series 1 of the Dog Academy, and people watched you work on that. And I think, it's the reason why you're one of my favorite trainers is because you are not like, you don't want to grab the limelight. You are not like, hey, you're just not. But watching you work, whether you think it or not, but watching you work, it looks like the camera's not on you at all, because it's easy, even though I know it wasn't, but it's
easy. I was very kind of you to say, but yeah, it was a lot more difficult.
Yeah,
so maybe I'm a better actor than I think.
No, it's because look, we all know that it was a stressful situation.
Yeah, really.
And training on television is, and I'd like to talk about that. But first of all, how long have you had Avon Dog Services now? Because you really became interested, not like a lot of trainers who they might go do a job first and then they kind of dog training is their second job or even sometimes third job. You came in right from studying from school.
Pretty much, yeah. This is my one and only career. I had a few little jobs just to bring money in and to get the business started. But in answer to your first question, we celebrated our 15th birthday at the beginning of this month, April 2025. It's 15 years in business. Well, wow. 15 years for Avon Dog Services, which honestly, I cannot, considering it was just an idea at one point, and then it became maybe a bit of a reality, and then actually, come on, we've got to do this. We'll get out there and we'll put flyers out and we'll start. And I was doing training behind the scenes with another club as well, and getting the hands-on skill sets and stuff. And then fast forward 15 years and thousands of people and thousands of dogs met, helped and kind of coached. It's amazing. I look back and think, I can't believe I've done that.
You've done it. And
for me, it's like it's a massive thing. 15 years is massive.
You built a great business. You actually, and I love your social media as well. You do a lot of really great practical stuff on social media. So follow on Instagram, follow on Facebook, follow everywhere. By the way, if people do want to follow, where do they go?
So the website and all of our socials are just Avon Dog Services. That will get
Okay.
you straight to the socials. And we've got challenges. I've actually been challenged again by my wife, who every now and again she'll set a challenge up for us. So we've got another challenge starting now. So a 2 week challenge from tomorrow. So that'll be fun, and I'm doing it with Nova. The challenge is for me and Nova to both take a drink and then both pass out. It
Whoa.
doesn't sound, yeah, it doesn't sound much,
Whoa.
but there is a lot to do. There's a lot to do in 2 weeks. I
So
can't
we're
imagine
not
we're going to get
saying
there,
for people
but
on here, like, what do you mean he's making his dog drink? No, no, no. It's like
yeah,
a
it's just,
trick, isn't it? He's not
yeah,
actually gonna
yeah.
be like, he might take a
I
little lap
will.
of water. You might, yeah.
I'll need
And
it by
then
then, definitely. But no, no, the trick that I saw that she showed us, they both had empty glasses. They both had empty or plastic
yeah, yeah,
cups
yeah,
for safety reasons, obviously.
of course.
But they both pretended to take a drink and then both pretended to pass out. So that's the trick. But yeah, all the socials have loads of different challenges that we've done in the past. So, and we keep it as real as possible. So I put the bloopers in there. I put the mistakes. I put all of the stuff that goes wrong, which is, I think, also just as important as the end goal is to show people that actually even trainers don't get it right immediately
Mm.
all the time. So
Sometimes it is trial and error. Well, no, not
yeah,
sometimes. Like quite a lot of the time, it is trial and
yeah,
error, and that's I think the beauty of this is because you can never get bored. As a dog trainer, you never get bored, and
yeah,
also never think you know it all because you don't. Because training and working with dogs has a way of humbling you,
yeah, absolutely.
doesn't it? I mean,
Yeah,
and I
it,
like the
it really
fact.
does.
I like the fact that you show when things aren't going wrong because that is normal. And I think that when
Yeah,
people watch it, like when trainers watch it, they go, "Oh, that's like me, good." And then number two, when dog owners slash guardians, when guardians watch it, they go, "Oh, okay, that this is
yeah,
good. I don't feel so intimidated. Like I can do this myself."
yeah,
It humanizes it.
absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
So you could have when you started, and I know you went to college and you have a BSc, don't you?
that's
In
right.
and so, but you could have chosen to go down lots of paths. What made you choose kind of the positive reinforcement path?
Oh, great question. So I first had a dog when I was four. The first dog I had was when I was 14. I badgered my parents for years, got to 14, and they're like, right, we can have a dog. But my mum had always grown up with German Shepherds. So she was like, if we're going to get a dog, we're going to get a German Shepherd. Really not a good, not a
Not a
good
good
first
idea.
time dog. Not a
No.
good first
Oh
time
yeah.
dog. Not a good
No.
first time dog at all. I mean, she'd had dogs before, but her parents had done all the training as well. So
Okay.
we got this dog. We started taking her to training, and we went to a training class, Village Hall, as you know, most classes are run, and it was an ex-police dog handler. Now, I know there are lots of good reinforcement-based police dog handlers who are doing training out there, but the
There
one
are.
that we had, and this was when I was 14, so like 30, 20, well, 28 years ago, something like that. Yeah, a long time
A
ago.
ways a ways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
way, way, way back. Yeah, yeah, nearly 30 years ago. But when we were there, it was very much like if you want the dog in line, you've got, and we went in, whatever lead you went in with, that was taken off, and you were given a check chain to put on, or a choke chain, but a check chain to put on. That was your training tool for the session. If you wanted to buy one, you got a discount, and so I don't know. Even back then, I was this. He was like, right, if you want the dog in line, you've got to pull the dog in. You've got to, a quick on the lead. And I was this scrawny little 14-year-old kid, and this shepherd was like, by then 6 months, 7 months old. We were doing like we stupidly we did the classic, like we didn't quite do all of the immediate stuff that we should have done. Got him into classes a bit late, but he was a strong lad. By the time he was a juvenile and a bit of a delinquent, he was probably like 30-ish, 35 kilos. And this
Wow.
scrawny little 14-year-old boy was supposed to like pull him back into line. And I
Oh,
just thought, A, I can't do this. B, I don't want to do this. And immediately right back then, I was like, this doesn't feel right. Even though I was being told that I should do that, there was something I was like, this just doesn't sit right. And my mum moved house a few years ago, and she found loads of pictures from our very first house up north. So as you probably can gather by now, anyone in the UK, I'm not born and raised in Bath.
No, you're not.
No, I was raised in Sunderland up north. Um, and so their first house they moved, and there was pictures of me in the back garden, 14-year-old, with a little treat in my hand, like one of those Win-A-Lot shaped biscuits in my hand, trying to get the dog to, trying to get Max, which was the shepherd's name, trying to get Max to sit with a treat. And he did it, and I gave him a treat, and that was it. And even back then, we were doing treat training as a 14-year-old boy, whilst we were going to classes paying for money to be told to, like, if the dog doesn't come back, yank and keep walking back until the dog gets to you, which is, it's like an old school classic method of what they used to teach recalls with. So that was the point at which I was like, there must be something else out there that I can do. And that's when I started to get the bug, and I started to just play around with Max. I used to go out on walks after work, after school. I used to come in from school like 3:34, get the lead, we'd go out for an hour. Some days it would be an absolute nightmare and he'd run off. Some days, I didn't have a lot of control over him. I'll openly admit that. And then I just started to go, right, what can we do? What other stuff can we do? And then that carried on for a couple of years. And then it was time to decide where to go from there. Was it going to work? Was it going to apprenticeships? Was it going to college? And really, years before that, I was like, oh, do you know what? I'd love to be a vet. And I wasn't the greatest student at school. I'll openly admit that. I didn't quite, the classroom environment, the 5 hours of you've got to do this, this, and this, the whole kind of box process, I just really struggled with. When it came to college, it's like you can do something that you want to do, and it's not strict, it's not regimented. And so there was a land-based college near us called Hoffel in Durham, and we started there. So I did a national diploma, BTEC national diploma in animal. So it was animal care and training, and that was it. That was the first. That was the first part. That was the first step. Then went on to uni. Did 3 years at uni, and then went on, and that, as they say, is history pretty much. So yeah,
Great.
I'm very, very fortunate.
And you've been a VSPDT probably 10 years?
Yeah.
10 years?
Yeah, long time.
A long time. And obviously you're VSA faculty member and have taught a lot of the students as well as part of the faculty. So, and everybody loves you, and you're the UK based trainer there along with Joe Pay. And so, but it is wonderful, to have you on the podcast, but also to hear that as a 14-year-old, you just still felt that something wasn't right.
Yeah.
And then you decided, instead of being influenced by that, to go on a path where you could do great things, but in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is commendable, because you could have been very, very well influenced.
Absolutely, and back then we certainly didn't have the feed or the overwhelming information of social media, of how people do it, and back then there wasn't really a lot of kind of jazzy, oh, you can do this, you can try that. You had to actually research where you wanted to go and what you wanted to do. I'm really glad that I started my career back then and not now, because if I was 14-year-old now, with the amount of stuff you see on social media, with the amount of snazzy adverts and snazzy websites, and there's the scope, and I really feel for either clients trying to find, or people trying to find dog trainers, but also people wanting to become a dog trainer. I really feel for them, because the amount of stuff out there that's available to them, and only a small percentage of that is going to be relevant to that person and going to be actually useful for that person. I really feel for them. But back then, I was really fortunate. The college was very nearby, and I had the opportunity to go there. The university was just 2 hours down the road as well, which was far enough to get away from home, but close enough if I needed to get back.
Perfect.
Mom, can you do me washing? Can you do this? Can you do that? So I was far enough, but close enough. And it was a lovely spot. And I was just very, very fortunate to have that kind of string of events just line up perfectly for us. But yeah,
Okay.
like you said, back then it was very much like, I don't like this method. I don't like having to do this, and I don't like how it's making the dog. And I didn't know anything about body language or anything about emotional side of things. I didn't know anything, but it's still, there was just something that I could see from the dog. And I was like, it's just, this doesn't feel right. And it doesn't look like he's enjoying this either.
Mm.
And then that's the path that then started to kind of kickstart going, right, how do we find more things? How do I find other stuff that we can do? And we got dog training books and stuff like that. And some were good, some were just, I don't really think that that's going to work. So went on from there.
Right. And so Avon Dog Services now, you service the Bath area, Wiltshire,
Yeah.
or all of that area. Can you tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about your business?
Yeah, so the business predominantly works on pet dog training, where we try and we do a lot of behavioral work. So we seem to do from the top end of things, like the reactivity stuff is usually like a dog to dog reactivity. So we've got our own private training field that we use to work with dogs in a kind of a controlled, relaxed environment to give exposure to different dogs. And then we work on other stuff like one-to-one sessions, group classes, and right down to puppies as well. So we're predominantly pet dog based, and working on mainly the behavioral side of things.
And what is business like in that area? I mean, I would have thought that everybody would have a dog up there.
There is. It's because it's such a lovely. It's a town or city environment or feeling, but it's a rural. It's kind of like a rural theme. So the downside to that is everybody gets working dogs, like working cockers and working
Ah.
labs, but nobody wants
Oh,
to work them.
oh, no. Oh
So we
my
get a lot of
gosh.
dogs. We get a lot of dogs going self-employed and coming up and going, yeah, I got this dog because we go for walks all the time. We go for like regular walks, only on a weekend. All right, okay. What dog did you go for? Oh, we wanted something small and compact, so we went for a working cocker spaniel from working lines. Oh, okay, great. So how many times do you go gun dog training with them? Sorry, what? So it's a very familiar set of questions that we ask people. But no, it's lovely. But yeah, we do have a very working dog based clientele, just because of the area that we're in, and the work that we've done in the past as well.
Interesting. So you are getting these people, these clients, with the best of intentions, wanting to have a dog that they can take for a walk. And there's some beautiful walks around there. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just, oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. But when you are getting these dogs from working lines and then you're not working them, and you're not, as you said so eloquently, they're going to go self-employed. And
yeah.
sometimes being self-employed means, well, being self-employed, like a lot of us are self-employed, you got to come up with your own stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah. You've got to do what makes you happy and what excites you. Like, like in business, you have to choose another avenue to go. Do you know what? I'm really interested in that now. I'll go off and do that. And dogs are like exactly the same. They're like, oh, actually, that leaf over there looks lovely. I'm going to chase that.
Yeah.
Or, oh, look, there's a bird over there. I'm going to chase that 5 fields away. So, and you can't blame the dog for doing that, because if that's in their DNA, if that's bred in through years and years and years of kind of genetic preferences, and we'll pick that and we'll cherry pick that, and you can't be mad at the dog for doing what it was bred to do.
No, you really can't, can you? You really
No.
can't. And so, but then that causes issues, that causes problems. And so then they call you, and then you're like, oh, here we go. And but I'm sure now, because you are so well versed at it, that actually you are able to tell people this is the dog you have and this is what you need to do. So could for listeners here who aren't trainers, and we have a lot of listeners on here that aren't trainers, but they just listen to
Yeah.
get tips. If they've done the same thing and they have a dog from working lines, what are some of the things they A, need to think about, and B, do?
Really good question. So my first thing, and I would always say to people, is to research your breed. Some people research the breed before they get the dog. Some people don't. All right. Now, whatever people say that that's a good thing or a bad thing, or that people are mad to do that, it's by the by. The person has the dog now. They're not going to take the dog back. They don't want to. They want to work with the dog. So it's pointless worrying about whether they researched it or not. What is worth it is saying, what I'd like you to do now from this point is get to grips with your dog's kind of ancestry, basically. Have a little research. If you need some help, I can help you out. But I always try and get owners to do that, or guardians, or I will say owners throughout this. For anybody who refers to themselves as caregivers, in my headspace, owner, and I know people are kind of a bit, they get rubbed up a long way by that. But I just mean, whatever you refer to yourself as, that's what owner means, basically.
Yep.
So
no, that's good. That's fine. I use all three. So
yeah, perfect. So the first thing I'd say is get owners to then look back through their dog's ancestry, see what they were bred for. And you might find that there are some variations within a breed as well. So you might find that you've got a collie who isn't bothered about herding or stalking. They're just relaxed. It's rare that it happens, but you might find that. So you've got to try and work with the ancestry plus what you see from your dog at that moment in time. The second thing then we start to work on is to what we call meet the dog's needs, which is basically give the dog a job that they are bred for. The moment I speak to people about this, their face just drops because they're thinking to themselves, why are you training me to train my dog to do this even more when they are already very skilled at it? And so they're like, surely we're just training this dog to go 7 fields away instead of 3 fields away. And that goes back to what we were talking about with self-employed, is that if you haven't got the job for the dog to sate their appetite for the thing that they need, they are going to go off and do it elsewhere because you're not providing them with that. And what we almost always find, as soon as you start to provide the outlet for the dog where they go, oh my God, thank you so much. You finally get us. You've finally given us stuff that I love. Thank you so much. Right, we can play together. We can do all of this fun stuff together. I don't need to now go off and do that because you're going to provide it all. And immediately there's a change in the dog. And I've spoke to people in the past where they've come for kind of like a reactivity issue. And bearing in mind, reactivity isn't just aggression. It could be like lunge, bark, growl at another dog. And in some situations, it's because they are so frustrated that they haven't got any outlets, they haven't got anything to do, that it's boiling and bubbling under the surface, and then they're seeing dogs and they just hit their threshold. They just go over, they're frustrated, they're overstimulated, they're over-aroused. But giving them those outlets generally helps to chill them, and we don't need to do any more behavioural work because actually, once you've met the dog's needs, it's like a wave washes over them and they're like, oh, love it, thank you. And the rest of the dog's life becomes better because you are just working on those things that the dog needs, like really needs.
And it is all about understanding the dog that you have, the dog that you have brought into your home, understanding that dog, whether it's a mixed breed, whether it's a purebred, whatever it is understanding the dog you have. And I think so much of getting a dog is done with heart instead of head. And even if you have done your research and this is the first dog that you've got, it is from a working line because you've heard that this line is fabulous, or a friend of yours has got, and you want a puppy from the next litter, and you're not prepared for it, then I do also know so many people that have got dogs like that, and that they live in urban environments as well, which can be really, really tricky. And certainly as well, when I was working as a trainer in Manhattan, we had a lot of those in Manhattan.
Yeah,
can you imagine? But we were able to even go to Central Park. And before 9 o'clock, you're allowed to have 9 a.m. You're allowed to have dogs off the lead there. So we were able to do work in Central Park there we were able to understand what the dogs needed. Brilliant. I'm going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I'd love you to give me some kind of enrichment ideas for these kinds of dogs. So we will be right back. Have you discovered the completely redesigned positively.com yet? When you create a free account at positively.com, you can enroll in fun, accessible, and free online courses to help you and your dog live your best lives together. Join the community completely dedicated to supercharging your relationship with your dog at positively.com today. That's positively.com. I'm back with Adam Daines, and we're talking the working dog, the dog that you get from working lines and didn't really realize, or knew about it, but didn't realize maybe what you had at the other end of your lead. So you said that you can really, by understanding these particular breeds' needs, you can really give them some great enrichment, great outlets to be able to do what they want to do, which, as you said, some people are like, wait a second, I don't want my dog chases things. I've come to you because my dog chases things. And now you're actually getting my dog to chase stuff. Like, what are you doing? But can you give me some kind of ideas of the sorts of things that you will teach and the kind of enrichment
Yeah.
that you can do to fulfill these dogs' needs?
Yeah, absolutely. So if we go off kind of the last, I suppose, if we go off the last week of the sessions that I've had, we've had a working Cocker Spaniel, we've had a Rottweiler in, and we've also had a Collie in, amongst others, and we worked through those. So if we worked on the working Cocker Spaniel, the dog is bred to nose down, sniff, move, and you can start to build in some retrieve items or that side of things. And sadly what the owners were doing at the minute was to tire the dog out, was just using the ball launcher to get the dog's energy out.
I'm melting. I'm melting.
I know. There's a big thing with fetch, and all that. Basically, for me, it is even ball launcher aside, I would get rid of that to start with. But even if they did, if you want to play fetch with your dog, my advice would be, if you can't relax the dog after maybe 5 or 6 throws of fetch, and you can't get them to at least just go back into more of a relaxed, like dog behaviors like sniffing and foraging and mooching, you shouldn't be playing fetch. If you want to play fetch with the dog, though, short bursts, 2 or 3, but I would build it in with an actual activity rather than just there's the ball, start chasing it. Is build it into a game or build it into an activity like, can you sit and wait whilst I throw the toy and then I'll send you off for it, which then taps into the search and the foraging and the retrieval part for a lot of those working breeds that we talk about.
And they love it so much.
Yeah, they love it. Absolutely love it. And if the owner can't get the dog to sit and wait, what we sometimes do is say, well, look, just put the lead on a harness, hold the lead, throw the toy, wait until they're just a little bit more relaxed, and then take the lead off and let them go. And if they still don't want to do that, then we say, right, well, what you would do is you would walk around, don't let the dog see, but you're going to drop a toy behind you on the floor, get some longish grass, walk 5 or 6 steps on, call the dog to you, and then try and get them to find the toy. Wow. It's 5 steps. You're building recall by using search as a reward. So just because the dog doesn't get the food or toy there, coming back to you is the gateway to being able to go off and find the toy behind them. And then you celebrate, it's party time, you play, you have a good bit of fun with the dog, and then you rinse and repeat throughout the walk. So you can start to use games like that with kind of Spaniel type breeds or any working type breed who likes to come down, sniff and forage for items, treats or toys.
Do you do tracking as well?
We do. Yeah, we do. What I find is that Spaniels are rubbish at tracking because
they're not
in the early stages anyway, they do pick it up. But what they do is they do their whole, I'm just going to quarterback with some fault. And actually for tracking, we want a straight line. So although they are good at sniffing, they're not very good at sniffing in a straight line. They're all over the shop. But gradually, as you build it up, they do get to that point where they start to follow the track. And then as we do because then we work onto something called crosswinds, which is where you lay the track that way and the wind comes across that way. So it blows the scent off track slightly. So they've then got to try and navigate that as well. And they are very good after a while. But in the early stages, they are proper Spaniels. Like they are all over the shop until they pick the scent up and they'll quarter through. But tracking's fantastic. We do workshops for fun track, and we don't do any competition work with it. But again, it's just another opportunity to get that dog's nose down and get them searching over a prolonged period of time. In some situations as well, it's really good because it's one of the few exercises where the dog is allowed to pull. So it's one of those where the thing that I love about tracking is that tracking is the dog's game that we are part of, not our game that they're part of. When you start to see a dog tracking and getting their nose down and sniffing, it's like they're into it and they're like, come on, hurry up, follow. And you're kind of at the end of the lead or end of the line, kind of going, yeah, I've got you, let's go, let's keep going. And so it's a really lovely game where it's the dog's game that we are part of rather than our game that we are letting the dog play.
I love that.
So
I love the way
stuff
you
like
put
that is brilliant.
I think that's
Brilliant.
brilliant. I do. I think that's wonderful. Okay. Now you also have this really cool thing and training vacations for you and your dog. Tell me
Yeah.
about that.
So the idea came, oh God, years ago, where we've had over the years, we've had clients who've sent their dogs off for residential training where they don't go with the dog. The dog might spend a week, they might anything up to about 3 weeks. And it's a very common thing. Now, again, I know for a fact that there are good, very, very good residential trainings out there where they'll do lots of handovers or they'll do lots of like ongoing support. But generally, the theme was the dog would come back really well trained. The handover for about a 2 week stay without the owner. This is 2 week stay where a trained trainer, professional is training the dogs for 2 weeks. The handover period will be about half a day for 2 weeks worth of work.
Yeah,
It's a lot.
it's
It's a
problematic.
lot. Even somebody, even if me who's already in the dog world, I would struggle to take all that information in if I sent my dog away and did that. So half a day, yes, they get follow-ups, but it's just, and I just had this thought years and years ago, it's like, what if the person could go with the dog and train with the dog? And then last September, me, my wife, my daughter, and friends of ours with their kids went to a glamping spot in Wiltshire, so about 20 minutes from where we currently live. And when we got there, this spot it's beautiful. You've got you've got 5 lovely, huge canvas lodges. It's got their own kitchen. You've got sleeps up to 6 people. You've got your own shower, toilet in the back. It's plush. It's really nice, and it's massive. It's got little hot tub and stuff in there as well. It's got a little there's chickens where you can go and pick your own eggs in the morning, and a massive couple of fields. Like there's about must be about 100 acres on this farm. It is massive. And me and my friend were chatting about it, and I said to him, it just in passing, I said, God, this would make an amazing dog training centre, like a dog training holiday. And he was quite friendly with the farmer who we booked it with anyway. Anyway, next day the farmer comes, knocks on our post. He says, "Are you a dog trainer? You're the dog trainer?" Yeah. Anyway, we got chatting, and he said, "Well, look, if you want to use it, this place is dog friendly. If you want to use it, and I'm assuming he just likes making money as well. So it's like, if it benefits me, you can do this if you want. So it benefits him, and also it benefits clients, because now we have a spot where people can go. It's 1 week, like a week holiday. The next one's coming up in September, where they come, they spend a week there. We've got a chef that comes in and does their meals on a morning and a
Oh,
lunchtime.
stop it.
Yeah, and then in the afternoons, all of the stuff that they've learnt that morning, they get to take off with them and explore Wiltshire or Somerset or wherever they want to go.
Okay. I'm
They come
signing up.
back,
I
they
can't,
do
I
the
won't be able
next
to bring my
day.
dog from
It's
America, but I'm
awesome.
signing up. Oh my God.
Honestly,
Carry on.
it's so nice. It's so nice. And so they get 3 hours of training with me over, there's gaps throughout the day. So by about 1:30, they're free to then go off and just explore and do their own thing with all of those skills that they've learned that morning. And I just thought, like, this would be so it is intensive, but the work that they're doing, and they also get an online run walkthrough as well. So they'll have that. Usually they'll get that just before they arrive, but they'll have lifetime access to that. So they do all the training with me. We do group classes, we do individual stuff, we pick apart what that particular dog needs, and we only have 5 per holiday, 5 dogs. So I can give enough time throughout that whole week to help out every dog as I would like to do, and make sure that each dog gets exactly what they need and each owner gets exactly what they need as well. So yeah, we've got I think it's the 22nd of September. The next one starts. I'm really, really looking forward to it. It's such
Do
a
you have
lovely
any
spot.
availability on there? Have you started advertising that one yet?
It's gone.
Oh, what?
It went really
Gosh.
quickly.
I
but
bet it
but
did.
yeah, but we are thinking about, because the space is massive, we are thinking about doing a spicy dog holiday. So for dogs who are potentially
Oh,
dog
yes.
reactive up to a certain distance, we can't just have them like reacting a football pitch away, because it just wouldn't be good for the dogs. But if they can get within like 20 meters of another dog and be okay, we can then start to work the process forward and help those people out as well. So we are putting on a spicy dog holiday this year as well. So that'll be out advertised on our socials at some point.
God, Adam, I mean, I think this is no wonder that it's gonna turn into like people, when they want tickets to a certain concert and they have to be there and literally
Yeah.
at 12 they got to go. That's what's going to happen. It's such
Yeah.
a brilliant idea. First of all, people who don't like leaving their dogs and want to go on vacation now can bring their dogs. And people who don't want to go and send their dogs to boarding, because I'm not a great big fan of dogs being boarded at board and trains
Yeah.
anyway, because of what you say. But for them to be able to do that and to be happy doing that is and that they can work with their dogs and then they can go off and have a little bit of free time. What
Yeah.
an experience. What an experience. And for spicy dogs as well. So for
Yeah.
Americans, they'll be like, what are you talking about spicy dogs for? And no, reactive dogs, dogs that are
Yeah.
showing reactive behavior or dogs that may be a little
Absolutely.
uncomfortable around other dogs. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what you mean by
I
spicy.
have just That's right. I have just checked behind the scenes as well for the holiday for the dogs that aren't like spicy or aren't reactive. There is one spot.
Okay.
I've just looked behind the scenes. There is one
Okay.
spot, but it's only a maximum of 5. So I'm assuming that
Yeah.
will go quite shortly.
Yeah.
We've only advertised this holiday in September, like within the last month.
Wow.
So,
Well,
yeah.
brilliant. I mean, I think that is such a great idea. And of course, in such a beautiful part of the world.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's so lovely. And you're like 20 minutes from where they are. You're about 20 minutes from Stonehenge. You're half an hour from Bath. The amount of areas that you can cover on that week holiday is immense. And like we said, you get all of your breakfast included, all of your lunches, which is laid on by a trained chef who's also a good friend of mine as well, who's coming in to help out, and you get the training from me and the team as well. So we hope that it's going to be the absolute one complete solution or one complete service to really getting back on track with the dogs. It might just be that people use it because they just want to holiday with their dogs.
Yeah.
And in which case that's fine. But it might also be that somebody's like, look, I really want to just take a break from where we are training. I want to get away for a week. I want to come down and I just want to be immersed in dog training and just really kind of get me head into it. And there's heaps of practical hands-on, which there are with a lot of our stuff that we do. And then there's a lot of theory and understanding as to why these things are happening as well.
So with top-notch training, you're going to have a great vacation with your dog, and both you and your dog are going to learn and become enriched. I think it's brilliant. Talking about your dog's learning and being enriched, we can't go without talking about the Doggy Academy. And in series 1, you and I were teamed up, and I was the human trainer, and you were the dog trainer. And
I've got to say, I'm glad that happened because I don't think I could have worked with all those people without getting hands on a dog. I'd have been itching. I'd have been like, what? I mean, all I want to do is talk to people and not play with dogs and train
Oh,
dogs.
I'm telling you. And I was scared. You know me. I got a little frustrated. I went to Nick Mursky and I was like, Nick, can I actually do some dog training, please? Because so now in series 2, I'm doing both. And now I'm like, oh God, please just let me, please, either one, let me do the dogs or let me do the humans, because it's a lot. But okay, you were thrown into the deep end, but what was the experience like for you?
So looking back on it, I am the proudest that I could be of doing it and saying yes to it. For years, I'd always seen stuff on the TV, and like under my breath, and I was going, "Oh God, that's not right. That's crap. That that shouldn't. I don't think that should be portrayed like that on TV." And I always said to myself, if ever I got a chance to do that, I would say yes. So when I got to the point where it was like, there's this show about to look for trainers. Do you want to throw your name in the ring? I was like, yeah, I'm going to have to. I've said it for so long. I have to now, because it's going to help the dogs out in the long term. So, yeah, getting there, getting the call to say that I got the gig, I was like elated. I was just over the. I told Charlotte, she was like, yeah, me, Charlotte, and Gracie like celebrated massively. And then the first day on a set basically was the first time I'd ever experienced anything like that, and my heart sank. I was like, oh my God, this thing is like a proper production.
Yeah.
Like the amount of stuff, they're really going for it. They really want to, which is brilliant. They really want to show the story. They want all angles on the dog. They want all the training, hundreds of cameras, and I was just a bit like, oh, this is a lot. And it took us such a long time to drown all of that out. And fair play to everybody else on there, because you and the team adapted very well. I struggled to adapt to that. When I had hands on the dog, fine.
Yeah, yes. It's
All of
like
that was
everything
all of
just
that was
goes,
drowned
doesn't it?
out. Yeah, but then when the guys are stopping you mid training and going, oh, can you just give us a run through of what you're doing? And it breaks the flow of the training, that you're getting into a rhythm with the dog, and then all of a sudden you have to stop. I was like, oh, and then it's weird. It's like it's an odd one. It's like running and then just having to stop dead and then have to
Right.
start up again. It's a really odd feeling, and I never quite got into being able to transition from I'm working and working and working. Right, I've got to stop dead, and then I've got to face camera and do something else, and then get back to the dog. I just, yeah, it struggled, but like I said, looking back, I'm so glad I did it. I've got absolutely no regrets. And well, like years, a very long time ago, before my dad passed away, he said something which was, never regret the things you've done, only regret the things you didn't do.
Yeah.
And so when he then finally passed, I got a tattoo down the side of my body, which pretty much slightly more poetic than that, but I've got the tattoo on the side of my body now, which says just that.
Wow.
So I said yeah, and I have no regrets whatsoever, because it's led us to here, being here. It's led us to other things, like starting to be, like you said earlier, with the social media stuff, and just actually being a bit more relaxed with the social media stuff, being a bit more normal, as in like not just a trainer on camera. Is that just, I am just a person who trains dogs. I do get it wrong. I do make mistakes, and being able to show that really helps. So that experience from the Dog Academy has definitely helped out all of the stuff going on from there. So, yeah, no
And you did
regrets with
come and
that
help us out
whatsoever.
in series two.
Yeah, yeah, which
And
was lovely,
that,
much more relaxed. I
much
love that.
better.
That was a nice gig.
But
Get
it was
behind the
me
scenes
that
and
was
do all
like
the work.
freaking out because I had to do human and yeah, and that happens a lot where between series one and series, they like to change things up, and and it is what it is. But you were still there, and your presence there as well, because this stuff cannot happen in a vacuum. This does take a village. I always say, especially when you've got
Yeah,
dogs that had as big issues as the dogs we worked with. It does take a whole support system there, and but it's wild, isn't it? And
yeah,
I can't. That nobody stops anybody now. Let me just tell you, that does not happen because you can't when that interrupts. Because with a production company, and also we have a job to do, and we need to be focusing on the docs, and they have a job to
yeah,
do, and they see it all in their heads. These producers, they are amazing, because whereas we can just see kind of what we're doing and everything, they have the whole edit in mind. They see
yeah.
it all. That is their genius. And so they might get you to do something again, but they won't interrupt now. And
Good.
just because it's so difficult for us trainers, and it's so difficult for the dogs
Yeah,
and it's a flow, it's a dance. And you
it is
stop
a
that
dance. Yeah,
dance, right? Then yeah, it's going to be really hard. So but that experience of being in front of the camera, as you said, I think really does help you do social media and become, because your videos are so entertaining and so relatable as well on social media, that,
Mm.
and I also think that when you, after that experience, really nothing you're going to do in the dog world in the future is as
Yeah.
exhausting or as stressful as that.
Oh God, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No,
Because we
definitely
don't,
not.
the dogs we don't work with, like, I mean, where actual training time is probably across an afternoon, maybe 2 hours max, broken
Yeah.
up. But we can be there for 10 hours, 12 hours. And sometimes when it's me or the
Yeah.
dog, even though again, we're not working the dog a lot, I can be there from the moment I leave the hotel to the moment I come back. It's a 14-hour day.
Yeah, they're
And that's what
long.
people don't realize. Oh, and by the
Yeah.
way, I remember the last series we filmed with It's Me or the Dog, which aired in 24. But that last series that we did, we were going for 5 weeks every day. I had
Really?
1.5 days off in that whole 5 weeks.
No.
1.5 days off. By the end of it, I mean, you'd have like an afternoon, but once you finished with somebody, and then you'd have to drive that afternoon to the next
Yeah.
hotel for the next location. And I kind of used my afternoons I would listen to podcasts. And so I actually found
Yeah.
that quite relaxing, which is my off time.
Yeah.
But it was a lot. So
It's hard. Yeah.
it's really hard. Anyway, that experience is good for anybody out there. We're going to finish now, but for anybody out there who is you do a lot of teaching for students, and that want to be dog trainers, what would you say to them?
Research first. Find a course that fits in with your values, and hopefully those values are that you are kind and using effective methods that don't cause any pain, discomfort, fear, and they are all ethically sound. Find a course or provider, or chat to people who have already gone through a course. Chat to trainers who, if you've found someone on social media who you really like, have a chat with them and say, where did you start? What did you do? And then go from there. I'm obviously going to plug the VSA course, because what you get on the VSA course is far and away the most comprehensive that I have ever seen. You get a faculty advisor that you work through. The course is there that you work through. You have to do hands-on skills. Even if you're doing the online version, you have to do hands-on skills. You have to be part of the whole process of teaching dogs, learning about how to deal with clients, which I know people get into dog training because they love dogs and, I like dogs, I'm not really bothered about people. The sad reality is you have got to help those people to help that dog. So that you get all of that in that course as well. So that would be where I'd start on the VSA course, see how you get on. There's even free stuff, isn't there? There's free stuff that they can try, have a little look. But,
absolutely.
But do your research is the absolute minimum thing that I would suggest to start with.
Brilliant. Adam, thank you so much for joining me. Okay.
Thanks very much for having us.
I've got a lot of people saying, right, I want to come on the vacation. Where, or holiday? Gosh, I've become so American. Oh, and your vacation. Okay, where do they go for that?
So that's all on our website. So you just head to all the W's, avondogservices.co.uk, or actually for you guys, you can even plug in .com and it will take you to the site anyway. Okay. And then it's in the book online section and you can see the layout, you can see where it is, you can see what we do, or you can, right at the very bottom, there's a subscribe button where you can get a mail out of all of the information that we've got as well.
Adam, thank you so much for joining me. You are a true treasure to this dog training industry. Congratulations for everything that you've achieved. Congratulations for the Dog Academy, and congratulations now for this amazing new holiday.
Thank you so much.
And I think you need an auditor, or at least somebody needs to come and do press, which I've got a great camera and I can come along and do a little film.
You are more than welcome anytime to come over.
All right. You all take care. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. And wow, what a great podcast. And, there are so many people that regardless of where they live, they get dogs from working lines. And it really does. It doesn't mean to say that, you've got to give that dog up to a shelter because you can't cope with it. There's so many amazing things that you can do, regardless of the environment that you're living in. You don't need to relinquish your dog to a shelter. There's so many things that you can do. So you need to seek out trainers like Adam. And I think that's really important. And for any dog issue, because I know that he said he deals a lot with dogs that have reactivity. And if you want to have a great holiday, then you need to go to avondogservices.co.uk. Thanks everybody for listening. I hope you are doing well, and you take care, and I'll see you on another podcast.
Thanks for tuning in to Victoria Stilwell's Positively Podcast. For Victoria's online dog training courses, more information, and helpful dog training tips, visit Victoria's official website at positively.com. Get connected on Facebook, Instagram, and other social media as Victoria Stilwell, and follow her on Twitter at Victoria S. Learn to become a professional dog trainer with the Victoria Stilwell Academy at vsdogtrainingacademy.com. And be sure to tune in next time as Victoria helps you and your dog live your best life together, positively.